Ladies and gentlemen, Antonio Brown finally has a new home in Oakland. Well, it's going to be Las Vegas, but with the Raiders. At least now he doesn't have to be surprised when his team doesn't make the playoffs. Good afternoon and welcome to the podcast. I'm Nick Drago. Today on the show, we're obviously going to recap NBA and NHL craziness, awesome action. And of course, we've got to talk about the upcoming March Madness NCAA tournament. The conference tournaments are underway, so we are going to chat about that. Stick with us, friends, because sports starts now. Welcome, friends, to the Sports Podcast with me, your host, Nick Drago. For those of you out there who are new to the show, thank you for joining us. It's so lovely to see you here. If you're unfamiliar with us, we love to recap all the sports news from the week before and, of course, talk about what is coming up for the week ahead, give you a little insight, all that fun stuff. If you like what you hear, find us on SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter, or the Facebook. Just type in Sports with Nick Drago or at Sports3X Podcast. You could also email us, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. So, what did I do this week? Oh, boy. Went to New York, got to see my family, got to hold my little baby niece. That was fun. Yeah, that's basically it. Let's talk basketball because a lot of games went on this week, and we're going to chat about that. First off, the Kings crushed the Knicks 102-94. DeAndre Fox, he had 30 points and 8 assists in that one. And the New York Knicks, by the way, eliminated from the playoffs. And as a Knicks fan myself, perfect. Let's hope we get Zion Williamson. All right, Brooklyn, they got a win over Atlanta, 114-112. Really close one, but it's the Nets' third straight win. 23 points from Dinwiddie. And Jared Allen, he had 12 rebounds along with those 20 points. That's double-double, friends. Let's see, the next one. Washington fell in overtime to Minnesota. Karl Anthony Towns, that kid had 40 points, 16 rebounds. But he ended up leaving the last couple seconds of regulation. He had a knee injury. Still no word on that. Hopefully he'll be back soon. So Minnesota gets the win there. The Celtics got a win over the Lakers, 120-107, as the LeBron James spiral continues to fall. Kyrie Irving crushes LeBron with 30 points. Marcus Smart, he had 16 as well. And that's got to sting. Former teammate crushing you like that. Milwaukee, the Bucks got a win over Charlotte, 131-114. It is the Bucks' 50th win of the season. They've already clinched a playoff spot, 26 points to the Greek Freak, 13 rebounds, along with 6 assists. Portland, they got a win over Phoenix, 127-20. McCallum had 26 in this one. Nothing too special there. Atlanta, they then beat New Orleans. That was today, by the way. 27 points for Herter. And Atlanta, they get a big win. What else? Who else? Memphis, they beat Orlando 105-97. Grizzlies rally to beat the Magic. Mike Conley had 14 of his 26 points came in the fourth quarter. And then the Rockets, they get a win over Dallas by 1 point. It was really close, 94-93 in that one. Detroit, they beat Chicago, 131-108. Griffin, he had 28 points, 17 of which in the third quarter. And that was the Pistons' 5th straight win. Raptors, they get a win over the Heat, 125-104. They also clinched a playoff spot, and they also tied a team record with 21 threes. 21 threes. That's a lot of threes. All right, Kyle Lowry had 24 points, 10 assists, double-double for him. 76ers, Joel Embiid is finally back in the lineup for the 76ers. They beat the Pacers 106-89. Embiid, 33 points, 12 rebounds, and of course he proclaimed, "I'm back," because, yes, he was back, but more realistically, he is crushing it. Okay, going on right now, I want to have a final score for you, but Minnesota beating the Knicks 68-55. As I said that, Kevin Knox, he got two free throws. So, Knicks are probably going to lose that one. The Bucks are just barely ahead of the Spurs, 74-73. We're in the middle of the third quarter on that one. And then you have Golden State, who is just barely ahead of Phoenix, 54-53. You think Phoenix is going to win? Probably not. Warriors are going to pull away in the fourth quarter. I'm telling you right now. All right, let's take a look at the standings. Milwaukee, those Bucks on top in the Eastern Conference. 2.5 games behind them is Toronto. Both of them have clinched. Philly, they have moved up to third after beating the Pacers. Although technically they're tied. They have the same record, but Philly's ahead. They're in third. Indy in fourth. Boston, they are in fifth. And then you have Detroit, Brooklyn, and Miami. Miami and Orlando, those two are like back and forth right now, so go either way there. And then you have the crummy teams, Charlotte, Washington, Atlanta, Chicago, Cleveland, and New York. Sorry, I had a hiccup there. Cleveland and New York, they are both eliminated, so don't expect to see them in the playoffs. Not that you would anyway. And then moving on to the West, Golden State, of course, remains on top, 2 games ahead of the Nuggets in second. Houston, they're pushing ahead now. They're in third place. They are, honestly, Houston is just absolutely crushing it right now. They've won 8 straight games. That's a lot. OKC, they're in fourth, followed by Portland. And then you have Utah, you have the Clippers, and you have San Antonio. The Kings, they're a few games back of San Antonio. And then you have Minnesota, you have the Lakers, New Orleans, Memphis, Dallas, Phoenix. They've also been eliminated. So right now, Phoenix, the Knicks, and Cavaliers, they're all in the Zion pool, each one of them having a 14% chance of the number 1 pick. And if you don't pick Zion Williamson, then I don't even know what to tell you. That dude, he is scary looking, even though he didn't play against UNC. All right, why don't we do this? Let's take one of those commercially break things. When we return, we're going to talk a little NHL, maybe some baseball, and maybe a little football. At least just maybe the Antonio Brown thing. All right, let's take a break. See you soon.
Hello, friends. I'm Nick Drago with the Sports Podcast. Do you have an amazing product you're trying to sell? Well, let me tell you exactly where to shove it. Up your butt! I'm just kidding. No, what you should really be doing is trying to peddle it on my podcast. That's right, we're offering free ad space for anybody interested in selling their amazing products. All you have to do is email me, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com, so we can figure out exactly how to get your message out there and on the air. So once again, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, and I'll be waiting patiently by my computer.
Alrighty, friends. Let's talk a little hockey. So this weekend, the Avalanche, they got a win over the Sabres 3-0. Sharks, they won in overtime against the Blues. Nice score by LeBanc in the end to give the Sharks the win. Maple Leafs, they beat the Oilers 3-2. Bruins, they beat the Senators 3-2. Red Wings lost to the Lightning 3-2. A lot of 3-2 scores here. All right, let's move away from that. The Flyers, man, they have the Islanders' number this year. They won 5-2 against New York. Flyers with another victory. Rangers, they get a win over the Devils 4-2. The Blue Jackets crushed the Penguins 4-1, but for the record, the Penguins beat them the night before, I guess they evened it up. Coyotes 4-2 over the Kings. The Hurricanes, they won 5-3 over the Predators. Predators, by the way, had I'm sorry, not the Predators. The Hurricanes, 3 goals in the third quarter. Sorry, it took me a lot to say that. All right, Blackhawks, they get a win over the Spurs. They won 2-1. All 3 goals were scored in the first period. And the Golden Knights, they won 6-2 against the Canucks. 5 of those 6 goals were in the first period. Stone scores in the first minute. Tooch scores 5 minutes in. And then you have Eakin, Nozick, Stasny all scoring in that first period before the Canucks could find the back of the net. All right, moving into today's games, the Panthers got a win over the Red Wings, 6-1. I know, 6 goals. Jiminy Jammers. 3 of those goals came in the third period. Right now, a couple games going on. The Ducks and Kings, they play a late one tonight. Golden State and the Flames, the puck just dropped. Penguins are beating the Bruins 3-1. Let's hope that continues. And the Jets are losing right now to the Capitals 2-1, 2 minutes ago in the third, but they have a power play. So, I don't know. Maybe the Jets could tie it up. I don't know. That's wishful thinking. All right. Let's look at the standings. Right now in the wild card race, if you're looking at the East, you got Washington on top. The Capitals, they've been keeping pace the last few weeks. I wouldn't say they're on a big tear because some of the other teams are catching up to them, but they're keeping pace with the rest of the Metro. The Islanders are not far behind them, 85. They're not looking as unstoppable as they were maybe a month or two ago. Carolina, they're in that third spot at 81 points. They have been on a tear. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10 games, and they're doing pretty well. Tampa Bay, if you're looking at the Atlantic, they're the first team to clinch a playoff spot. They have 108 points. Boston's behind them with 93. Toronto's behind them with 89. The 2 wildcard teams are your Pittsburgh Penguins and your Columbus Blue Jackets. Penguins with 81. So an easy win tonight against the Bruins will actually catapult them ahead of Carolina and put them only 2 points behind New York. And then under that, you have Columbus with 79 points. They knocked out Montreal this weekend. And the Flyers aren't too far either. All right, looking into the Western Conference, the Jets, they're on top right now with 84 points. Nashville right behind them. Again, these two are back and forth all season, but Nashville's played 3 more games than Winnipeg. Keep that in mind. St. Louis, they have 79 points right now. They're in third for the Central. In the Pacific, you have the Sharkies on top. Right behind them is Calgary. That's another one. They're going back and forth. And you got the Golden Knights, who are doing really well. They'll probably make the playoffs. Wild card teams, you got Dallas, you got Minnesota. But Arizona, Colorado, they're both within they're within 1 win of being in those slots. Chicago's not far behind. Neither is Edmonton. I wouldn't really trust the rest of those teams there. But Vancouver, the Ducks, and the why do I want to say the Lakers? Because it's LAK. No, the Kings. LAK, Los Angeles Kings. All righty. Let's look at the stats right now. Of course, Nikita Kucherov, that dude is just unstoppable at the moment. He's got 110 points behind him. Patrick Kane with 97. Connor McDavid, 96. Nate McKinnon with 87. And Sidney Crosby, wearing the number on his back, he too has 87. Looking at goals, Alex Ovechkin. He's got 46 on the season. Leon Draisaitl. What? I don't know. Leon from the Calgary Flames. He's got 41. Patrick Kane with 40. John Tavares with 38. And Cam Atkinson. That guy's got 38 as well. Assists, you got Kucherov on top at 77. Blake Wheeler, 64. Connor McDavid, 63. Brett Burns is up there with 60. And Michael Marner, he's up there with 58 assists. Brad Marchand, he's in the top 10. Good for you, Brad Marchand. And goaltending, Jordan Bennington. Jordan Bennington's leading goals against average. You got Andrei Vasilevsky. He's leading in save percentage and most wins right now. Goes to the Flower. Marc-Andre Fleury. He's also got the most shutouts. All right, looking at baseball. Spring training has been really fun to watch. Adam Jones, looks like this guy's going to get another chance to play. He has a deal with the Diamondbacks. It looks like it'll be $3 million. So good for you, Adam Jones. Glad to see him out there on the field. An interesting question came up today. Will a 4-man outfield become normal against Bryce Harper? This was on MLB.com. And I just find it laughable. I mean, you could shift your players into the outfield or something like that, but 4 outfielders is just insane. And if I were Bryce, fine, then I'll just go for line drives, hit them into the infield. All right, moving on. What do we want to talk about? The Raiders, they traded a guard to the Jets, Osmele, the guy who has 2 Pro Bowls. It looks like Carlos Hyde is going to go to the Chiefs on a 1-year deal. Good for you, Carlos Hyde. And, of course, Antonio Brown. He was the big name for NFL this weekend. Why is that? Because he was finally traded away from the Steelers. And I don't know what's going on in Pittsburgh. Apparently nobody wants to play there. But it's amazing because even without Antonio Brown and without Le'Veon Bell, Pittsburgh still looks like they could be a contender this year with Connor running the ball and Juju Smith-Schuster taking over at the number 1 spot. Either way, Antonio Brown, good luck in Las Vegas. Don't get lost at the casinos on your way to the field, all right? And your bleached mustache, that's just creepy, man. Have you seen this thing? He's literally bleached his mustache to be blonde. Like, I get the Odell Beckham, like, having his hair blonde so his grandma can, figure out who he is on TV. Don't think Antonio Brown is doing this for that reason. All right, when we return, we're going to talk a little college basketball. I know I haven't talked about it much this year beyond gushing over Zion, and I promise you that's not the last time I'll mention his name on this show. But we got to talk about conference tournaments. So stick with us. Sports. We'll be right. Come on, say it. Say it with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We will be right back.
Vikings at their own 39. It's 3rd down. 3 receivers right, Thielen left. Marshawn Lattimore 12 yards from Adam. Case on a deep drop. Steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side. Caught by Diggs. Stay up. Oh my God. 30. No 10. Touchdown. Are you kidding me? It's a Minneapolis miracle. Stephon Diggs and the Minnesota Vikings have walked on the New Orleans Saints. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle.
Hello, friends. Has this ever happened to you? You're walking down the street, you're super hungry, and you go to reach for a licorice stick and, you don't have one. Well, now that's no longer a problem with the Licorice Machine. That's right, this nifty 40-pound backpack straps straight to your back with a tube that connects directly to your mouth. Anytime you're hungry, just suck that delicious licorice right out of the tube. You suck it right up in your mouth and you enjoy the spoils of that. Alright, that's a pretty bad advertisement. But you know what would work better here? Something of your own design. Do you have an ad? Something you're trying to sell? Maybe just a happy message to share with my fans? Well, this is your chance. Email me, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com.
Length of the court with Archie Diacono. 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship. The national champions with Jenkins hitting the winner at the buzzer.
Folks, March Madness is upon us. Almost. Obviously, the major tournament won't be starting for another week or so. or 2 weeks, whatever. However, conference tournaments are going on right now, and I find those to be just simply thrilling. So what I decided to do is let's just go conference by conference. We'll update you on what happened this weekend, and we're going to let you know when to watch your conference tournament. Sorry. Man, these hiccups driving me crazy, man. Crazy. All right, so when you hear your conference called, I want you to yell, yeehaw, as loud as you can. I will totally be able to hear it from wherever I am in the world. So do this. All right, AAC, that conference, those games start on the 14th, and then they're going to end, the championship will be on the 17th. If you're interested in the ACC conference, they're also the 14th with your championship on the 17th. The America East tournament. First off, let me tilt my cap around here. That's right, University of Hartford Hawks. They play in this conference. And they actually won this weekend. So way to go, Hawks, beating UMass Lowell 78-70. They're in the semifinals. They'll play Vermont on the 12th. That's Tuesday. And then the other game will be Binghamton taking on UMBC. And you'll remember UMBC is the team that beat Virginia last year in the first round of the NCAA tournament. You remember 16 seed beats a 1 seed. It was one of our first few weeks as a podcast. So I still want them to lose. But I know Hartford lost to them last year, so I could have at least said, like, hey, we lost to that team that beat Virginia, so we were pretty good, but just as bad as Virginia was against them. All right, we're moving on. The Atlantic 10, those games start the 13th, with your championship being on the 17th, next Sunday. The Atlantic Sun, they're always one of the first conferences to totally come to an end. So on the 10th, that was this past weekend, Liberty beat Lipscomb 74-68. So Liberty will get an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. Liberty, we look forward to you doing something out there. I salute you as you begin this amazing, amazing journey. Who is that? Atlantic 10. All right, the Big 12. Those games start the 13th. Championship being on Sunday, the 17th. Big East. 13th. That championship ends on Saturday, the 16th. Let's go to the Big South now, because this one also ended this week with Gardner-Webb beating Radford 76-65. So Gardner-Webb, I'm going to salute you. Good luck, sirs, in the NCAA tournament. You're going to need it. Who's Gardner-Webb? I've never even heard of them. All right, the Big Sky. This conference is just barely getting underway, and they are just all over the place. Those games start the 13th, and it looks like their championship is on the 16th. So if you're a fan of the Big Sky, you got something to look forward to there. The Big Ten, they start on the 13th, so March 13th, you start watching them. Those conferences championship, that championship's on the 17th. Big West, they're going from the 14th to the 16th. They're just going to go rapid fire right in there. The Colonial Conference, fancy as it sounds. Right now we have 3 of the teams going into the next round, and we'll talk about one of them in a moment. So Hofstra got a win over JMU. They moved on. Delaware beat William and Mary, so they'll be playing Hofstra tomorrow at 6 p.m. So that's Monday, March 11th at 6 p.m. Northeastern, they got a win over UNC Williamson. Williamson. I really have to stop talking about Zion Williamson. See, I told you he'd come up again. All right, and then there's one other game that is not entirely over. That would be Drexel and Charleston. It's actually going on right now with the current score being 51-41. Charleston beating Drexel with 13 minutes to go in the second half. So good luck. I mean, I guess I would say I'm rooting for Drexel because I live in Philly. So go Drexel, go. Is that their chant? I don't even know. I'm just making stuff up as I go today. All right, moving on. That was the Colonial Conference USA. They start the 13th. They're going to end the 16th. The Horizon Conference. Wright State beat IUPUI. That's not confusing. They're in the next round. They'll be playing Green Bay, who beat they beat that team from Chicago. The super religious one. I can't remember. All right, Oakland and Youngstown State played each other, with Oakland coming away 88-84. And then North Kentucky, they beat Detroit, so they're moving on to play Oakland. Those games are March 11th, so look out for that one. All right, the Ivy League, they're the 16th and 17th. Remember, only 4 Ivy League teams make it into that tournament, so got to be the best of the best. The MAC Conference starts Monday. That's tomorrow, March 11th, with some great games. Akron, Miami, Ohio. You got Central and Western Michigan mixing it up. Northern Illinois, and Ohio and Eastern Michigan will take on Ball State. So that's some fun stuff right there. The MAAC Conference, not to be confused with the MAC or the MEAC, because if it's conference basketball naming, you know what? Let's just name them all the same thing. All right, so this one's not over just yet. However, we know that Iona beat Siena. They'll be going into the finals. It's 73-57. And then Monmouth is actually playing Canisius right now. What's the score of that one? Monmouth, it looks like, is winning 39-34, 15 minutes to go in that one. So that would be a huge win for Monmouth if they can break away from the pack. Maybe get to the finals, they'll play Iona. Okay, MEAC, that one starts tomorrow. So some good games there. And then we got the Minnesota Valley A Conference, which has come to an end with Bradley beating Northern Iowa to make it to the finals. So, Bradley, I'm going to give you a nice little salute here. Welcome to the NCAA tournament. Mountain West Conference. They start the 13th, then the 16th. Northeast Conference. Did this one end? No. We got the finals are coming on the 12th, Tuesday. Fairleigh Dickinson will take on St. Francis of Pennsylvania. So, looking forward to that one. And then you have the Ohio Valley, because why not have an entire conference named after Ohio? Murray State beat Belmont 77-65. Murray State, I'm going to give you a salute. Welcome to the NCAA tournament. Hope you enjoy your automatic bid. All right, the Pac-12 starts the 13th. Their championship's going to be on the 16th. The Patriot League. We already know which teams are going into the finals for this one. It is between Colgate and Bucknell, and I know Bucknell has some crazy raging fans because anybody I've met from Bucknell is obsessed with Bucknell. So, good luck, Bucknell. Good luck, Colgate. Excited to see who goes on to the conference. That game is the 13th at 7:30 p.m. So, I would watch that. That seems like it would be pretty good. All right, the SEC, they start the 13th. Championship there is the 17th. The Southern Conference. We're on our way to the finals here. UNC Greensboro taking on Wofford. That'll be on March 11th. That's tomorrow, Monday. Monday. So watch that one. That one's at 7 o'clock p.m. Where are we? Southland Conference, 13th to the 16th. They have not started yet. The Summit Conference has started. You have Western Illinois. They made it. They upset South Dakota State. That was a big-time upset. Oral Roberts, they lost to North Dakota State, so West Illinois. North Dakota State will be playing each other. Nebraska, Omaha, they moved on to the next round. And then the other game that's still going on right now is South Dakota and Fort Wayne playing each other, with Fort Wayne pulling away 28-13. And then, where are we? Sun Belt Conference starts the 12th. They end the 17th. They're really drawing that one out. The SWAC, the SWAC conference, they're also the 12th to the 16th. And then the WAC conference, they start the 14th and the 16th. And the West Coast Conference, they're not over yet. The 2 games, semifinals, are going to be happening March 11th. That's tomorrow. Gonzaga taking on Pepperdine? That can't be the right name. That's the name of the school, is Pepperdine. Wow, they actually did pretty well. They're like the lowest of the low. They're making their way up here to the semis. Good for you, Pepperdine. All right, but they play Gonzaga, so, it's got to stop somewhere, right? San Diego, they will take on St. Mary's. Both of these games, March 11th, one's at 9 and the other's at 11:30 p.m. So if you want to stay up late, you East Coasties, I love it. They call it the West Coast Conference for a reason. And that's all I got to say about the conferences. So I want to say thanks to Johanna Albert Drago. Middle name will be Albert, last name Drago. We're married, so that's a thing. She is the content editor for our show, along with set design and the logo designer. So always nice to thank her. The music for this podcast is Song Gold, Golden Sunrise from Josh Woodward. A link to his website can be found on the show notes. Thank you to the various media sources that allow us to use their material in between commercials, such as, I don't remember. They're all tagged on there, so don't sue me, please. Please. And, of course, special thanks to our social media warriors, Mary Kay Albert, Lois Butler, and so many others. The last couple of weeks, we've had over 100,000 folks interact with our Facebook page, whether it just be viewing a post, clicking on a post, watching a video. It has been actually really cool to see. So thank you for the last few weeks for really coming out and supporting us. If you like what you heard today, find us on SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter, and the Facebook. Just type in Sports with Nick Drago or at Sports3X Podcast. Find that picture of our logo is a blue star. It says Sports on it, and it is awesome. All right, that is all the stuff I have for today. We talked a lot about sports. I think next time maybe we'll just talk about furniture. I have some lovely couches we can discuss on the show. Remember, like, comment, share, email, Twitter, tweet, or do all those crazy social media things. We love hearing from you, so feel free to shoot us an email, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. Remember, Wicker Furniture Week next week. Nah, I'm just messing with you. Thank you for joining us so much today, fans. Once again, University of Hartford Hawks, I'm rooting for you guys this week. I'm watching that game, maybe, but I'm rooting for you guys. So good luck to the Hawks. Come on!